Welcome to Uganda First, a show that we hope is instilling patriotism in Uganda. Brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps. My name is Frank Walsimbi. We are continuing with our topic of building a quality citizen. Today we are at the Scripture Union camping site in Kauku, that is along Entebbe Road. We're going to have a chat with the National Water people here and UPDF, of course. The National Water employees, some of them are at this camping site attending a political education course focusing on patriotism. Kano Akenji Birungi here is the head, is the in charge of the training. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mahamud Ultaya, the general manager, Kampala Metropolitan National Water and Sewage Corporation. Yeah, that's where he works as general manager, Kampala Metropolitan. Kano.
Yes, brother.
Once again, good to see you on the show. Good to have you.
Nice meeting you.
Tell us briefly what the training is all about. I'm calling it a political education, but you could elaborate more.
Entirely, this course has core objectives, and one of the objectives is to help facilitate developing qualitative leaders into Uganda, and these leaders are the ones who help us transform this country into a modern country. So another core is to help the participants appreciate their country, Uganda.
Uganda First.
Uganda First.
Is that where the element of patriotism comes in?
Of course.
Okay.
Because if you don't know Uganda, you can't say you love it. So
Yeah.
patriotism, we are here to help them understand their country, Uganda, the endowment Uganda has as a country, the richness it is taught. We have very many people who are Ugandans, but they don't know Uganda. They don't know how rich Uganda is as a country. They need to know our history as a country, so that they're able to appreciate where we are and where we are heading.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Ultai, I am thinking you're enjoying the training.
I think it has been a very interesting experience for us.
Were you patriotic before? Or you are learning the the concept
Everyone,
now?
when you ask that question, everyone will say they are patriotic. But I think the training makes you even more patriotic and gets you to appreciate more, like Kana said, what we have as a country, and most importantly, our role as individuals, as leaders, and as institutions in making this country better. Usually we might not really appreciate that until you get to understand where the country has come from and some of the things that our teams have been able to appreciate and understand. We've been on this journey since October.
October
That's when
2021.
2021. That's when
Wow.
we had the first group of staff. These were basically, originally were new recruits that we had recruited, and this was the first time we thought that, okay, instead of doing the typical induction, so induct people, but as you induct them, they should really know what they're coming to do. They're coming to serve a nation. And you know, water is a very critical service. We always say water is life. So it's life not just for the individuals, but also for the what? For the country. So we've had a set of staff go through this experience from October. As of now, we've had over 923 staff. 923 staff. Yeah, it's quite a number. When you look at the corporation, we have a total of around 4,500 staff across the country. So National Water is operating in over 262 towns across the country. So that's how national Water is.
And you plan to bring all of them here for
The
this training?
plan, we started with Kampala. Kampala, we have a workforce of around 1,400. So out of 1,400, already 923 have gone through this exercise.
They are qualified ambassadors.
They are qualified ambassadors. They are enhanced patriots for the country. So like I said, it has been a very, very interesting experience. For the staff themselves, I think we will hear testimonies of what they've learnt, but what they've experienced, And out of this class, they are never the same as individuals. But even as an organization, the results are different now, because you see, there's always a purpose to everything. When you're providing a service, there should be a purpose. The people come to work and they're coming for the job, you know, they're just coming to get the paycheck. But I think with water, it's more than just a paycheck, because you're providing a service that touches people's lives, a delicate one, and touches the lives of the nation. So if you're to provide it with your heart, then it's totally different. And I think that's what happens here. By the time people leave, they're now, everything comes from the heart. Because then they are doing it for, not for the paycheck, but they're doing it for the fellow Ugandans.
It's not the issue of ngenda kumulimu.
No. It goes beyond that. And
beyond.
that's now real patriotism.
I understand.
When you do something and you feel you're not doing it for even today, but also doing it for the poor who are going to come.
Kanabirungi, have you interacted with civil servants before? In this type of training?
Of course.
Okay.
We have in Chankwanzi.
Okay.
In
And
Chankwanzi.
what has the experience been like? Do you
Yeah, whoever has gone through,
see change happening?
whoever has gone through political education leadership course,
Yes.
or these courses that we conduct, their performance at work really changes. Even the perspective of looking at things changes, because we equip them with tools of analysis. People become objective, not subjective. They look at things the way they are, not the way they think they should. So this course is good. It helps to transform an individual into a better person.
Okay. So what's the plan on your side? Do you intend that all civil servants should have a chance to attend this, or is it a parastatal that comes and seeks the training opportunity that you allow to come?
I think as a trainer, I would wish that everybody undergoes this training, because other countries have it. Other countries have what we call national service. Like our neighbors in Kenya, they have national service. Every youth goes through national service so that he's able to appreciate his country. The problems we're having today is that our youth don't know their country. They say Uganda, Uganda, but they don't know Uganda. But when they go through this course, we're able to tell them what we have as a country, the potentiality of our country. We're able to tell them where we have come from, why things are happening the way they are. So they're able to appreciate that surely, yes, we're on the right track. If we all worked hard, if we all sacrificed and worked an extra mile, Uganda would evolve.
We have been talking about a quality citizen on this show for quite some time. When you are training Kano, what do you tell the people? Who is this quality citizen that you want to build?
We try to reawaken them and show them the qualities of a good leader. I mean, a good citizen. The responsibility of a citizen. As a citizen, you have responsibilities and obligations. So we try to show them that as a good citizen, you are supposed not to, like when it comes to talking to these servants, civil servants, some of the servants do work as if they have come to work for pay and go home. They look at things, they don't mind about improving the service. Like the general manager has said, some people come to work for the sake of passing time. At the end of the day, he gets a paycheck and he goes away. But whoever has done this course, the feedback is that the quality of work at workplace, the interaction at workplace, the coordination, the teamwork, they really change and all work as a team, not as individuals.
How will you do follow-up to ensure that the employees are still abiding by the principles you've studied here?
It's something that we're working on. But what has happened, what is very interesting, the teams that have left here, like I said, we started in October. We had the first batch, which were around 180. Then along the way, another 200. But every team that has come with a different energy. That energy has touched the rest, you know. So there are a number of things that people pick from here, especially as far as work is concerned. you get to appreciate why they exist. Because sometimes people come to work and they don't know why they come to work. So this one makes them appreciate what we've tried to do with this. That what makes this course.
Maybe they know that at the end of the month I'm going to get a paycheck.
Yeah, but the purpose is beyond that. What we try to do with this course is we will have, there's the part of patriotism. Also, we try to blend in our programs as well, our refresher trainings for our staff. So it means that they are also more conscious of the organization they are serving, what it's all about. As you say, you love your country,
where it has come from.
Where it has come from as a corporation, and also where it's going. We able to share the strategic plan and expectations of the country. I mean, of the corporation as well. So the idea is that you love your country, but also you love the organization you work for. So what is happening right now, especially the people that have come, most of the things that are picked from here, one of the things is discipline. There's an aspect of time management. For all our officers in Kampala, we start work at 7:30. We had an interaction with a person who came to visit, and we said that, okay, let's have a meeting at 6:30. He thought we are what? We're joking. At 6:30 he came.
You were in office already.
Everyone was in office. So one of the measures, because we're not going to put figures, but it's through the actions that we see that people live, the way they live their day-to-day life. So you find that for most of our officers, by 7:30, okay, 7:30 is not reporting. 7:30 is actually what? Starting to work. So you have people who report at 6:30, at 7. Now the other most important thing is that, you know, in this training, when people come, they start with a parade. You understand? Because the
What time is that?
The program here starts at 5.
5 a.m.
Yeah. So if you get to work at 7:30, or start work at 7:30, means that you in principle you have to wake up at 5 or 4, which is what is happening for most of our staff. But also we try to pick again the good values and principles here that for most of our officers, we start with the parade. And we use the parade for purpose of accountability. So and also energizing the team for the day. So there are so many lessons we've learned from what the army does. Sometimes we take them for granted, but they are very interesting lessons. The singing, yeah, they are very relevant. They are relevant in our day-to-day life. You know, what one would argue that there have always been those arguments where monopoly have no competition, and that's why some people justify the bad service they give to the customers. Our model is slightly different. We're competing with all service providers because we're competing for someone's pocket. So when at the end of the month, you either pay for water or you can pay for any other one. So we have a lot of competition as national.
Okay, let's return in about 3-4 minutes and we'll continue with the discussion. You are watching Uganda First, brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Co.
Uganda First.
Welcome back. You're still watching Uganda First, brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Co. Today I'm with Mr. Mahamud Lutaya, the General Manager, Kampala Metropolitan, that is National Water and Sewerage Corporation, and Kano Birungi, he's an instructor here.
Yes.
He's in charge of the training that is happening at the Scripture Union. They are training employees of National Water and Sewerage Corporation. Quality citizen, quality citizen. Do people appreciate patriotism after all these years of your instruction?
They do. Those who have undergone this course have really changed, and they appreciate, because even if you go in this class, they will tell you that they wish they had this knowledge before.
You know where we started from when this whole concept was introduced. There was a lot of resistance, you remember, through the media, social media and what have you, that how can you teach patriotism? How can you claim that you are building a citizen of quality? How can it be done? You remember that conversation?
That is true. But all those who are saying that are people who have not had chance to attend to our classes.
Yes.
But if they came and attended our classes, they would go out and tell the gospel that surely this course is ideal and good for every citizen. You interact with the class, they will tell you what they have discovered here.
Away from class, you follow media, you see what is happening.
I do.
Can you say that we've done something as we speak now? in as far as instilling patriotism is concerned?
Yes, in schools we have patriotic clubs, and you know, once those youth understand and love their country, then the next generation will be better Ugandans. We give them the package, they appreciate, and so they come with that message, that package. When they go to universities, when they go into public service, they will serve Ugandans better than those who have not had an opportunity at this course.
Away from the in-house training, how else do you think we can spread this concept of patriotism?
Oh, to me as a trainer, I would wish that we are empowered so that we have a national service, so that every youth of this country undergoes this training. It's very important and very critical. Majority of our youth don't know their country. They don't know the rich endowment we have as a country. They don't know our history. They don't know where we have come from. They don't know where we are heading. But once they get this package, they will be able to appreciate Uganda as a country that we have come from afar, and we are heading in the right direction.
When you talk about youth, are you referring to those in school or even the youth out of school?
Even
because
those out, even
there are
those
also
out,
so many and they do not have an idea.
even those out of school, because they follow a lot of things. You are talking of the media. Our youth, they read about New York, about London, and they think that those cities were developed overnight.
Canadian prairies.
Yes. They think those cities were developed overnight. They want to have those magnificent streets in Kampala within a day, and yet those streets have been built over time. So if they're able to appreciate where we have come from and where we are heading, then they will know, yes, Uganda is developing as a country, because Uganda has had its own challenges.
Built over time, but also respected by the citizens, because there is a building and then destructing.
That's what I'm saying. If you're a youth who has undergone patriotism, you cannot ban a road that has taken taxpayers' money, a road that is helping facilitate trade and movement.
You can't ban, you can't steal the curbstones
You
that
can't.
are beautifying the city.
You cannot.
Okay.
You cannot take street lights once you know, once you are told.
Mr. Ultaya, patriotism. I remember we had you on this show and we talked extensively about it.
We still have experiencing very serious challenges of vandalism of our assets, and I think our sister utility, Umeme, is also going through the same. Even over the weekend, we had one of our lines which we recently laid around, there's a pipe that picks water from Sonde, goes through Namugongo, Bulindo there, Kanisa Crystal around there.
Okay.
So they picked some of the fixtures. That was a Saturday night. So it means that people didn't have water for two days, 3 days. And again, they were stolen by Ugandans. Some people don't understand the impact of their actions because we always look at the selfish interests. But I think that's why I think Kano was saying that if we get to appreciate that when you steal these 2 fittings, you're affecting 1,000 homes and lives, then the perspective changes. Even the person, because right now people will look at those as national assets, but they don't know, as long as they're tampered with, they're actually what?
Their assets.
Their assets. So this is something that we all have to seriously take responsibility as institutions, but also as the citizens, because these are public infrastructures and assets that have to be protected by all of us. Otherwise, like in that case, with a big population hasn't had water for almost 3 days because someone came at night and picked 2 fixtures,
which they are going to sell at very little money.
It's very little money, you know. But in terms of lost revenue, but most importantly, the people haven't had water for like 2 days. You can't even put value to that, you know. So it's something that we need to put our hands together as a country, as citizens, and try to deal with it.
Kano,
Yes.
what did you think about using social media as one of those platforms where you can teach patriotism? There are a lot of millions of youth using that space as we speak today?
Of course, that is a new trend that we need also to copy, not only to...
Because you might not have a chance to host all of them.
That is true. Not only fixing ourselves in class, social media is another platform that we can talk about Uganda as a country, we can educate the youth, but still having these classes, because issues like drill, you cannot do drill on social media, because discipline comes from drill. Those morning drills, evening drills, responding to simple orders, it helps to instill discipline. So you cannot do that on social media. You will need to be with a class so that you instruct them.
You know, when I look at social media, there is, I think it's like a trend. People are insulting, people are very disrespectful. They don't care who you are. They take you on.
That's what I'm telling you. That
With very, very ruthless insults. And I think if we start with word of mouth, you know, you put a statement there, an inspiring one, hey, you can respect another in return, you know, respect is mutual, such things.
that is true.
Before we even come to the drills,
to the class,
you could give it thought.
That is true. We can't run away from social platforms. We have to think about it so that either we create a web where people can log in and read on their own. But still, like I said, an ideal class where we physically meet one-on-one so that they ask questions, we interact with them, it would help than the social media. Yes.
Because social media, even Mr. Lutaya can tell, you can easily use it and measure.
Yeah.
You can know what the quality of people that are in that country. It's my opinion, but partly you could use it to know that the people in this country are disrespectful, or there is a problem. Somebody has not talked to the young people.
We realize that we've tried to open ourselves up to the public through the social media platforms, and it has really been very helpful. Even when you have these vandalism of assets, again, the platforms have been very useful in making people appreciate, again, the actions, the impact of those actions to the service that we provide. So it could be a good idea to look at it also from that angle, that any platform, any opportunity that we have, we could utilize it to reach out to as many people that we can.
Sometimes I even see people telling you about broken pipes, snap pipes.
They have been very, very helpful. So social media for us has also transformed, because also it's one tool that has made us be fully accountable. Because when someone reports a leakage here,
response is
and
immediate.
if you don't respond, they will also post it again, and
that is
you have to be.
That is winning trust.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good thing. All right. Aside from classes, there is a lot that happens here at the Scripture Union camping site. The campfire itself, sharing stories, the dancers, basically unwinding. Let's take a look at some of the videos.
Uganda First.
Welcome back. You're still watching Uganda First. We are discussing who a quality citizen is. Today we are interacting with employees of National Water and Sewerage Corporation, represented by Mr. Mahmoud Lutaya here. But again, we're going to speak to some of them. They will tell us what their experience has been like here at the Scripture Union in Kauku. Let's hear them.
This training has really enabled me to manage my time well. I really take it very serious. I don't play with time. I make sure that I do everything on time. And it has really helped me to open my eyes to love my country, to dig deep and really make sure that I'm a good citizen who really knows her country and who does and works according to what would really be good for the country and for myself. There's been a lot of misinformation, misrepresentation about our president, about our country, and I'm really glad that this very training really brought it out, and now my mind has really been set. I'm so grateful.
This training has been able to give me ideological clarity on patriotism and Pan-Africanism. Before coming for the training, it's a word I just heard about. you hear about it, and you have a dictionary definition of it. The difference with this is that you then have a contextualized definition of what patriotism means to you as an individual and how it can help us transform our country. And that is what is key from this training. For this training, we regard this as, in Swahili, it's a sla. Yes. This is strictly discipline. It's about concentrating on something and making sure that you are disciplined enough to stick to it.
I must say it is new, you know. We are angry as a nation, and probably justifiably, but we also have very little to work with. This training, when we got here, we were all very negative. It comes off as a punishment or something like that. But then eventually you start to learn, and you understand that you need to be objective with the decisions that you make, with the way you see things, with the way you choose to perceive what's going on in the country. Because they get you to appreciate what you had before, what you have now, and what you can do in the future. So I must say it's a little bit different, but it is very positive. And I think everybody should actually go through it, because then you get to understand the country. Well, an open mind, because your mind is your greatest friend or your greatest enemy. So we'll say mindset change, which may sound a little bit negative, but here it's actually very positive, because then you're being exposed utterly to everything. There is no shame. The country is in a certain state, and they're going to be open about it. But then they'll tell you what's being worked on. But an angry person will fail to see what is being worked on, because we choose to be angry. We need to fix us to fix this country. Other than that, we're going to complain for the rest of our lives.
Wow, this training has already changed me. This is the best thing that has ever happened to us, or to me in particular. As far as my service in the corporation is concerned, I have added value in terms of knowledge, knowing Uganda more, and loving, being more patriotic and loving my country, Uganda, and loving to serve the service with a passion. This is not a stick, this is a gun. This is my gun, and sila yangu. And that is, you have to be ready with it. Anytime an enemy comes, you are ready to attack the enemy.
All right, you've heard from them. Mr. Lutaya, what inspired you? Who gave you information that you could actually contact the National Patriotism Secretariat and have such training?
I think we're inspired by the good work that was being done at the Leadership Center in Chankwanzi. Right now, Chankwanzi is one of our towns that we do operate as national town.
Oh.
And we've been having several interactions with the leadership of the place. And they took us through the kind of training and programs they have, which we thought were very, very relevant for us and our staff. But also, most importantly, also, the corporation has also been going through a reform process, which started some time back, but realized we're at a stage where we needed to do something with our teams, yeah, in terms of creating some bit of refresher programs,
reforms in human resource,
operate, embracing digitization.
Okay.
We have a new corporate plan that we had just launched last year. So we were at a point where we needed now to move to another level as an organization, and we realized that a program like this, working together with the UPDF, I mean, we all know what the army does. Sometimes you don't know if you don't interact with them. Mm-hmm. But I think now you get to appreciate why sometimes the president has a lot of trust in them, because then they are very disciplined, and the way they approach certain things, there's a lot to learn from that. So as a corporation, I think there are so many...
With commitment,
commitment and resilience. There are some things that I wanted to do. We had to create a resilience workforce, wanted to create a very committed workforce, wanted to create a workforce that really cares for the customers. And you can't care for people you don't really know and don't understand. So those are some of the things that really inspired us, and with the support of the board and management, a decision was taken to start again with Kampala, because Kampala is almost 60% of the corporation. And I think we haven't been disappointed. It has been a very great experience, and we benefited a lot from it already.
How do we apply? We are a group and we want to attend this kind of training. Where do we go to?
What you do, you write a request, you make a request to UPDF leadership, and then UPDF leadership directs.
Okay.
If you want, you write to the Joint Chief of Staff.
You know, these are high-ranking people who sit in
No,
very
you go to
high-end offices. We even fear to pass
you
via
don't
your
need
quarter
you don't
guard.
need to fear. There's no need of fearing because we're a people's army.
You don't have digital space where we can send email. We can, I don't know. It's
Like we have the office of the President, National Patriotism Commission. You go to them, then you put in your request, and once you request, they will direct who to conduct the training.
okay.
You don't need to fear.
What are some of those frequently asked questions in this training?
In the training, the questions are that why is it that not every Ugandan comes for such a training?
I want to hear also.
So the
What is
questions.
the response like?
The response, of course, is that yes, as UPDF, we may not have the capacity to go out and say, please, we want to train you, because it has a resource constraint. So corporations come in and make requests, and then an MOU is made, who is provide this, who is provide that. So we can't just go out and say, but in some areas we do intervene. Like if there is a directive, then we go and conduct the training.
There has been a claim that this type of training tends to marginalize. If you are of a certain political party, you cannot attend. Have you heard of such claims, and how do you respond?
That is wrong. Recently there was a course being conducted in Wakiso.
The controversial one.
The councillors. Those councillors all don't belong to the same political party.
NUP, all of them, nearly all of them.
And by the way, we don't train, we don't teach politics.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do political indoctrination. Ours is political education. And in fact, it would be good that those people who have other political inclinations come and attend.
Political education, you particularly tell me about this country, Uganda, where it has come from.
Yes.
Where we are, where we think
heading.
we will be in the next
Yes.
30, 40 years.
Yes.
Without telling me, please join this political party.
No.
Maybe people fear that, and you need to come out
No, we don't
aggressively.
We don't do that.
And show that you are neutral.
What we do is to give you the tools of analysis. Once you're empowered with the tools of analysis, you are able to analyze Uganda objectively, not subjectively. You look at Uganda the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
The way it is. So once we give you those tools, then you are able to know, to take decisions, informed decisions.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. If we are, for example, in a given parish in a certain district, we can come and apply.
Please.
And be trained.
Please.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Mr. Lutaya, so what happens after this training? Are you bringing in another group? What happens after?
There are so many lessons to draw from this training. I think as an organization, it has exceeded our expectations. I think that's one thing that we can state for a fact, that when we started, we didn't even expect to reach this far. We started with a group of new recruits, but the benefit immediately, we thought that other staff can benefit from it. Actually, as a corporation, we have a plan to set up our own training facility like this at our plant in Katosi. So for us, it's not supposed to end here.
Where you can meet, say, every quarter.
So instead of spending at a facility like this, we have our own home where we conduct.
You just invite Kano and colleagues.
Exactly. So that's the plan the corporation has. So we realize that this is the way to go as an organization, for us to have people who appreciate the service we provide. They need to first appreciate the country where we offer the service, and they should love it, they should love the organization. So that's the long-term plan for the organization. But what we're going to do, we have to complete all our teams in Kampala Water. So right now we have started now the management teams, they are starting also to go through this. So everyone basically has to go through this training, and I believe at the end of it all, everyone in National will have to go through it. And also that the new staff being recruited also will have to go through this.
I love the commitment of some of your people. I find them in the night, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m.
Yeah.
They're fixing broken pipes, and I am happy with that.
Thank you for appreciating.
Any parting remark, Kano?
Yeah, you talked of anybody requesting to have this course. Yes, if there are those individuals, if there's that community that wants to be trained, they can pass through the office of the RDC. Then the RDC
or RSCC?
Yes,
Okay.
can formally put in the request, then the leadership will direct what to do.
Thank you so much, Kano Birungi. Mr. Mahamud Rutaya, thank you for being part on this show. And for our viewers, Uganda First, brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism. My name is Frank Walisimbi. Have a good afternoon.